So I'm going to show you 3 delicious recipes. These are very simple to prepare. Has a little bit of a holiday flair to it. It's seasonal as well. It's delicious. Hopefully you'll try it. You'll let me know. So first recipe that we're going to use. I'm sure you've been seeing a lot of these this time of year. Right? This beautiful pomegranates, beautiful ingredients. Definitely very seasonal and delicious on its own, but we're going to incorporate it into this really sort of nice festive salad. And the star, outside of the pomegranates, the fruit, the vegetables, I think the bulk star. So this is not like a lettuce type salad. It's more of a grain type salad. And we're using bulgur. Has anyone heard of bulgur before? Yeah. What recipe have you heard? Probably more commonly bulgur.
You made it with the bulgur and the squash?
Yes, I've used it before in a couple. I love bulgur. That's why we use it. But I mean, tabbouleh is probably the more common recipe that you'll see in North America or Canada, for example. But this is used especially in Lebanon and the Middle East a lot, and it's a delicious ingredient. It's super easy to prepare, almost like couscous. If you prepared couscous before, very, very similar process, but this is a whole grain, so a lot more nutritious. You're getting some more fiber there too, and it's a very simple method. So I don't have to use a lot of pots and pans. So this is great if you have to prepare something on the go, or maybe you have other things going and you don't have kitchen space or stove space. So we use 1 portion of bulgur to just a little less than 2 portions of water, hot water, a liquid. So I like to do 1, if I'm using 1 cup, I'll do 1 3/4 cup, something like that.
You don't have to clean it, do you?
No, you don't have to rinse it. No, it's cracked, so it's already semi-processed, and usually they're parboiled as well. But because of the germ and everything is intact, it's still good. It hasn't been stripped of a lot of its goodness. So I'm going to do a smaller portion today. So I'm going to do about 1/2 cup in there, and it doesn't look like a lot, but once that hot liquid, hits it, it's just going to saturate. It's going to get really big. And I'm just using hot water from a kettle, which is fairly simple. But remember that the bulgur will absorb any hot liquid that you put in there. So what are some other things that I could put? Stock, chicken stock, yeah, absolutely. But can you see how it's getting cloudy? I don't know if you can catch that. You can definitely see it on there. So the steam is now being trapped inside, and that's going to sit for like about 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops, and it's done. That's how easy it is. So now I can start preparing the rest of my ingredients. So we're going to set that to the side, and I'll get my bowl here, and we'll go with the star of the show here, pomegranates. There's so many different ways to peel a pomegranate. I think there's so many different gadgets to match every way to peel a pomegranate. I'll show you one of my favorite ways. It's a little messy, but I think it's the easiest way to prepare it. So you can score it. Like if I was presenting it, you can score it and sort of rip out these little segments. You're busy. You're on the go. You don't have time to start doing these fancy scores. So what I do is just cut it in half. If you have a plastic cutting board, that's better, because otherwise it's going to stain the cutting board, but that's all right. So cut it in half to expose the 2 segments. And then over a bowl, what I like to do is just separate it just a little bit, just to loosen them up. And then cut side down on top of your fingers. And I fan out my fingers like this. So I'm holding it, but I'm allowing the seeds to come through. And then you take something heavy, nothing too heavy, you don't want to hurt yourself, but like a good wooden spoon, and you just smack the bottom. And can you see all the little seeds are starting to fly out there? You might get a little bit of the white pieces, and you can just pick through it after, but this I find is sort of the easiest, the fastest way to get everything through there. And so some of the white pieces I could just pick out, but there's not too many, which is nice. That's probably the easiest way. Then you can, any of the leftover, you can even squeeze through, and you get some of that really beautiful juice. And I like eating it this way. I know that they have the bottles of pomegranate juice and everything already. But the seeds is always the funnest part, especially when they fly all over the kitchen. Yeah. There's always like 5 seeds you'll never find until you step on them the next day. And this is definitely the season for them. You won't see them for too long, and then they start to actually dry out a little bit. When you're looking for pomegranate, you want to find something that is pretty firm on the outside. It doesn't have too much scarring, and you can tell if it starts to look a little dry on the outside. That means that the inside's probably starting to go. So this has got like a nice glossy outside. It's nice and firm. I know that this is a nice fresh. All right, so seeds go in. Then we're going to add another one of my favorite winter ingredients. Does anyone know what this is? Radicchio. Yes, yes. So I've grown to love this. When I was young, eating this, it was like eating the most bitter ingredient ever. And it still tastes pretty bitter, but it's actually nice in small amounts. It has a nice sharp flavor. This is, again, another winter ingredient. This is a winter leaf. It's a little hardier. You'll see them all year round, but typically, especially in Italy, this is the season for the radicchio. And it's a chicory. It's part of the chicory family. So you have some of that same flavor notes, a little bit of that bitterness, but beautiful color, really nice and flavorful. So I'll put some of the leaves in there, and I'm just making a smaller version, so you can use the whole thing. And then the last thing is some orange. This is a Cara orange.
A Cara?
It's called Cara orange. Yeah, so C-A-R-A, Cara. And it's almost like a cross between an orange and a grapefruit, but it doesn't taste like a grapefruit. It just has the sort of aroma of a grapefruit, but it tastes like a really nice sweet orange. And that's it. And this is the beautiful thing about the ingredient is once your bulgur is ready, you can add anything you want to it. So you can see how it's getting there. So there's a little bit of water left. So it might take like just a few more minutes. And if there's still a little bit of water left, you can sort of just drain it off. But at the end, it should be nice and fluffy like this. And it doesn't take, again, any time at all. Really, really tasty. So at this point, if you haven't seasoned it, you can season it with just a little salt, maybe a little pepper. And this is, again, like I said, a really colorful, festive, really, really tasty, quick salad. That we could put together. And we have our greens, which we can, or reds rather, which we can season. A little olive oil, maybe a little balsamic vinegar, like this. And it's, again, just like a very sort of colorful presentation. And then you can even finish it with a little bit of mint. And this is just some fresh mint over top everything. And this is a smaller version, but it's a nice sort of salad presentation. Really, really simple, festive, first salad, right.